So I'm at North High School with Michaela, and she is a core member here and also a core member on my Radical team, and she's going to give us a mini tour of their team room, which I hear they're already cleaning some stuff up because we have about a week left. So it's a little bit bare, but not completely. So.
Yeah, welcome to North. This is our team room. Our students are in the first day of finals today. So most of our students will actually be done by Friday, even though we still have a whole nother week of school. So some of them will come in for credit recovery and that kind of thing. But yeah, we're mostly wrapping up the school year. So walk with me around the room. This is this corner right here. It's just where our impact manager sits and kind of like, presides over the team. We have our values, which it's really nice to have a big visual to always stay focused on the kinds of things that we want to keep consistent in our service as part of city year. Here's the fabulous. Oh, yep, there's Erin. Here's the fabulous Miss Mora and all of our food. We've been having some events recently, so we have a lot of leftover food going on. That's kind of a fun part about city year is that we get to in-kind, which is accept donations from a bunch of different businesses. So we have donuts and cookies and coffee, all kinds of good things, usually for events. So right now it's just leftover, and we have kids filtering in and out and snacking all the time. This is Mary. We have, in our room, it's a little bit different. We have whiteboards with all of our tasks that we need to get done, and we have some lockers for storage, and we also write notes of appreciation to each other over there.
Yeah, these are your appreciation.
Yeah, appreciation station. And like remnants of bulletin boards past, Frida Kahlo and our squirrel memes. Okay, basically. Another cool thing about North is that we have a unique snack partnership with the Food Bank of the Rockies. So every day we head down to the cafeteria and provide free snack. So it means that our students at North can get 3 free meals every day, breakfast, lunch through free and reduced lunch, and then also our snack program, which is cool. Here's our sad in-kinding tracker. That's a work in progress still, and more memes of yesteryear. We've got some posters to help us remember to celebrate our team for birthdays throughout the year over here.
These are all your birthdays.
Yeah, and then our expectations for our after-school program. We have pretty open-ended homework help after school, 4 days a week. At the high school level, kids just kind of drop in and figure out what they need to work on. Sometimes it's just a conversation, coaching, or like hyping them up to do something that they're really stressed about. What's nice about our room that's different from other schools too is that it's really big. We have a lot of table space, which is good for group work, and we have small group pull-outs down in here. We get a lot of light from the windows since where our squirrel friend visits. It's cool. And then we just have all our materials, which again, really a mess right now.
But you have space for them, which is cool.
Yes,
well,
yeah.
Not
lots
everywhere does.
of built-in storage, which is awesome. So kids can borrow stuff to work on projects. We use it to work on projects, organize our files, keep all our snack supplies, very important. Yeah. Here's Mr. Aaron, also hard at work. Got our standard room phone, microwave, all that good stuff. Makes it feel really homey. Like
trackers.
Oh yes, this is just like our call logs where we record when we call home or email home parents about their students' either behavior, always positive, or about attendance, just like checking in. We also have lunch duties here at North, so I get to be outside every day during lunch on the football field, which is awesome because it's always cool to see your kids outside of the classroom context, and the freshmen aren't allowed to go off campus, but they have about 45 minutes for lunch. So we bring out like frisbees and footballs and soccer balls, and they're always really goofy, but it's a good way for them to get out some energy before their last 3 classes of the day. And the same thing happens in the gym. They've got basketball, and then Mr. Aaron runs like chess in the cafeteria.
Right, that's so, you had the chess tournament. Right?
Yeah, we have a chess club, chess tournament, which is really cool. There's a lot of really great history in this neighborhood of Denver, and the community really comes together to throw on events that the students aren't always so sure that they're interested in, but then they end up getting really into, like chess, for example. So that's been really cool over the course of the year, seeing them get excited about things that the community is really invested in, especially because North's been around for over 100 years. So there's lots of alumni in the area still, which is really cool. I feel like that's pretty much it here in our room. Just have sort of a lot of random stuff, like kids come in and borrow books sometimes, plug in their computers. It's just a good, safe space for students to come to throughout the day for pullouts or for homework help after school.
Yeah, cool. Thanks.
Oh wow, yeah, that's perfect.
Cool. So, my
Just with
first
our girl
question for
listening,
you-
Lisa.
Yeah, I want to listen. Do you want to introduce her, or do you just...
I don't really know who Listening Lisa is.
like-
She's just this really creepy, kind of like Annabelle voodoo figure. Oh yeah, this is.
Alive.
Oh yeah.
Uh-huh.
Oh, what was that, Lisa?
What'd you say?
What did you say?
She might have a recording device in her. We're not sure, but she's just here to keep us grounded in
We
our
like to-
empathetic listening.
Listening Lisa was originally a talking piece to hold us more accountable to Nos Jueso, which is no one speaks once until, or no one speaks twice until everyone speaks once.
Like a talking stick, like you'd like pass her around.
Yeah, so a long time ago, it was, I think, guys talking stick, like a piece. So like you could only talk if you were holding Lisa and you had to take turns. And she has just
She just has a lot of character.
survived through
She appears in creepy places
the
watching.
years. So,
Yeah.
so you can tell everyone and Lisa about what it's been like for you transitioning to Denver and city year.
Do you have my Gmail?
Absolutely,
how's that
yeah. I'm from Denver originally, but I mostly grew up in Virginia, so I was really fortunate that moving out here, I had a lot of support in place already. Like a lot of my extended family lives in the surrounding suburbs, up in Fort Collins, down Colorado Springs, so I have a lot of people in the event of, emergencies, or like my uncle's gonna help me move my mattress in a few weeks, things like that, which are super helpful. But even aside from that, not knowing a lot of people around my age, like peers here, coming into City Year, you just immediately have that kind of support system. And I live with 3 core members also, and it's really nice to come home and have people who aren't on your team, but understand what you go through every day, to talk about that and support you. And then, of course, you make good friends with people on your team. So I've been very fortunate in that.
And I always forget to do this, but do you want to introduce, like, in addition to just yourself, like what classroom you work in and everything, so when we talk about it, it makes more sense?
For sure, yeah. So we're here at North High School, and I work in a 9th grade biology class primarily, and then also like filled in sometimes in a 9th grade math classroom. So there are like 7 classes a day, so I'm usually in just about 5 classes. And then I'm the extended learning time coordinator for our team, which means that I sort of organize and direct our after-school program and lead conversations around expectations for students and for the team, and just like coordinate our snack program, all that good stuff. So it's a lot of fun. It's good. Yeah.
Thanks. I always need to do it first, and I always forget
No,
until
it's
we
all
start
good.
talking. I'm like, oh, like who do you work with? Okay, cool. So what makes North kind of special and unique besides the fact it's our only high school?
Yeah, that is kind of the cool thing about Denver, at least, is that it is the only high school, which really scared me at first, but it's been really cool to build really genuine and vulnerable relationships with our students, because they really, they have a lot going on emotionally, for sure, so they're very candid about sharing their experiences and their stories, which has been one of my favorite parts of the year. But as I mentioned before, North's also really cool because the history and the community culture around North, how people really just come together to support the students and to support each other. And we have a lot of really neat events, like homecoming is a huge tradition here. They have a big parade, a giant bonfire that you could see from like miles away.
Sorry.
Things like that are super cool and just kind of different. And we get to go cheer on our kids at sporting events, and went to like their piano concert last night and things like that you wouldn't necessarily get with younger kids.
Yeah. And yeah, just for context, it is one of we have 4. We have North, East, West, and South, and so North is one of those main high schools.
Like a historic, beautiful building, has a lot of history.
Huge alumni presence, and people are very into like their alma mater, and if they're from here, like
we
if
have
you
an
went to
alumni
North
room
or
with
East,
a ton
it's
of
like, a big deal.
Yeah, they have a lot of scholarships because of that, because of the history and the tradition here.
Yeah.
So it's really cool.
Cool. So what are some of the challenges for you that you've gone through this year that you're either like working on resolving with a week to go, or like things you've overcome that made you stronger this year?
I think coming into this year, I had been familiar with working on a team, but I think the most of my experiences, everybody still worked pretty independently just towards a common goal, but City Year is really different because you have to be super collaborative with both your fellow core members and your impact manager. And so I think we had some challenges like making sure we were all on the same page in the beginning and working on communication, but I think that that's been greatly improved on our team by having more candid conversations about what's going on and how everyone's kind of feeling, having these check-ins as a team, but also on individual levels with each other and with our impact manager. And it's been a huge area of growth for me over the course of the year, and something that I have like definitely taken away from this year that I know will carry over into pretty much any aspect of your life.
Yeah.
Is having better communication skills. So yeah.
That's true. And then what's been one of like your favorite memories or experiences just when you look back on this year? What are you gonna think about most?
Definitely just my relationships with my students, especially outside the classroom, because they can act one way in first period, but by the time you see them at lunch after fourth period, like they're entirely different people. It's just like hearing about what they're passionate about and interested in has been super cool, and then getting to see them thrive in those passions, like at sporting events or at their concerts, and then to see their face when they see you there and they are excited to have your support. Definitely one of my favorite things to do over the course of the year.
And then we've talked about some of like events at different schools, but can you just tell us about like one or two events that you did here at North?
Yeah, absolutely.
Just to get a better picture of like what it looks like to plan an event with your team, etc.
My favorite event that we've had this school year has definitely been City Year Heroes, which you probably heard about from other schools.
Yeah, we did talk about it a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, so it's a sort of culminating end of semester event that we did in December, and then we just had a couple weeks ago here in May. And each core member got to invite 3 students and their families that they felt had shown a lot of growth, either in behavior or attitude, even academics, students who, are being more proactive and seeking assistance when they need it or showing more self-control, all of those things. So it's really cool to single kids out who aren't necessarily always noticed or like acknowledged for their efforts. And it's really special to then get to celebrate with them at a dinner where we have all this free food, great food, conversation with parents, and really get to share more about what City Year is with parents, but also like hear more about their students and again, like what they're passionate about, and just really reinforce all those positive behaviors that we work on all year, but then to get to celebrate them is a huge achievement for the team and for our students. So that's definitely my favorite event. We also have done things throughout the year to appreciate the teachers we work with, who are really great, and try to build some community among the staff and our team, get a little more familiar with each other. And then I'm trying to think the chess tournament, super cool that we had here at North. It was huge because we had kids from elementary all the way up through high school playing at different levels, and had a lot of community volunteers come in, which was awesome. And then my other favorite event probably was one that Aaron coordinated, and it was a literacy event where we got chips and salsa donated for Hispanic Heritage Month, and students wrote poems about their own heritage and the different things that come together in their lives to make them who they are, sort of like making salsa. So it was really cool, and the kids liked eating chips and salsa. So.
And we actually did get a couple questions. So
Okay.
Is this your first time working with high school students? And if, in either way, like what has that been like working with high school as opposed to like younger students?
Absolutely. This is my first time working with high schoolers. I had a lot of volunteer experience and like babysitting experience, camp counselor stuff, but mostly with elementary and middle schoolers. And I was definitely kind of wary coming into high school when I found out that's where I had been placed. And it was really scary at first, but then you kind of realize that they're just kind of bigger kids. Like they're still really funny and goofy and want to make you laugh, and they're still just trying to figure out who they are and what they need to do to be successful in whatever it is that they want to do. And so I feel like a lot of my conversations this year have been around those mindsets and positive growth for our students, more so than necessarily just like find X when Y is this, and those kinds of things, is building them up to be successful in whatever it is they choose to do. And like I said before, it's really cool to get to talk to them very candidly about their lives. Like you build these really solid relationships because you really get to know each other as people and it's not just like elementary schoolers sometimes more blindly love you, like run up and hug anyone, versus when you feel like you've earned that respect from your students, it's a lot more rewarding.
That's true. That's also a good segue into the next question we got,
Awesome.
which, I mean, you've touched on, but what's the most rewarding part of being a core member?
I think it's
It's kind of
that's okay.
broad, but
I think for me, like the moments that I feel like I'm making the greatest impact is when I'm the first person my students go to talk to about something, and knowing that like they trusted me enough, either if it's something that they're really proud of that they achieved, or if it's something really tough that's going on either at home or at school in their relationships with other students, those kinds of things. Super rewarding to know that we are that person for students a lot of the time, and we're someone who's consistently here and consistently ready to listen and help in whatever way we can.
and then what was the last one I had? We kind of derailed, which is great.
Anything else?
Favorite memories? Yeah. Is there anything else you think it's important for people to know before they get here, or like a piece of advice that you think is most important, or like what's the most important characteristic to be successful?
I think just coming into everything open-minded, and
Pause for that.
Yep. Facing whatever challenges come with like a positive mindset has been a huge thing, and that's something that I've been working on over the course of the year, is just recognizing that like we're all here for the same purpose, to really help our students achieve their goals. And so staying grounded in that, and knowing that even though we might have different approaches to the same problem, or to the same kind of conversation with our students, that we all have the same end goal in mind. It's just staying grounded in that. Yeah.
Cool. Thanks. I don't think
Awesome.
we have any more questions, but if people do, you can comment on here, and Michaela's in the group, so she can
Perfect.
answer them later.
Yep.
Erin also served as well, so there's lots of us here that can answer stuff. So thanks, Michaela. Oh wait, maybe we have one more.
Say the wave.
What does the high school community here look like? So obviously we have a lot of Hispanic students,
Mhm.
but if you can just kind of give an overview of the North community.
Yeah, for sure. I know what they told us in terms of demographics going into the beginning of the year is that about 75 or 80% of our students are Latino, and then 10% African American and 10% white. And for a lot of our Latino students, a lot of them are biracial also, but mostly they are not first generation Americans. So most of them, their families have been in this community in Denver for a really long time, which is super cool to see how that culture is built up. And we have a lot of like families who have, students who have their cousins here. And so we get some of that like bickering in class sometimes, which is kind of funny. We're like, I'm going to tell grandma, like, okay. So that's really cool. Yeah, and what's neat about Denver, at least compared to where I grew up and where I went to high school, is that there's so much around the community in walking distance, that the students like will hang out at Park Burger after school or wherever. And also those same businesses are really eager and willing to invest back in North through donations that we get for our events, or hosting percentage events for different departments or teams at the school. Yeah, so it's a really positive culture, not as competitive at all as like where I grew up going to school, which I think is really neat, that the students are a lot more willing to help each other and come together when they feel challenged by something, versus just getting really built up in the conflict. So yeah, we have a lot of really great practices here too around restorative justice and restorative conversations, which is something that was really new to me coming into this year. And so we have deans and then restorative practice coordinators, who work with students and have conversations about how to overcome challenges and reflect on negative behaviors, like if a fight happens or if there's verbal altercations with a teacher, things like that, around choosing to see that as an opportunity for growth moving forward. And that's been super cool to have students recognize mistakes that they might have made and realize how they can grow from that and how they would behave differently in the future.
Yeah, and I did share that article about Scott and
Scott on his scooter.
Restorative justice
Cool
and
guy.
everything, but I can always share it again now that more people have joined. So, but that'll tie it back to like where we are right now.
Very neat.
So cool.
All right.
Michaela.
Thanks.
Bye.